What's up guys, Bryson Michael RC here, and I'm going to give you 5 tips that I learned that are in my opinion the best things for building 3D printed props, cosplay props, or just putting 3D printed stuff together. Now this is the very beginner stage of putting this stuff together, and I'm going to be making another video on the top 5 finishing things. So this is basically just going to touch on glue, tape, basically your first assembly stuff, and then on the next video I'll be telling you guys about the wood filling, paint, also be showing you guys some dremeling, the Dremel that I like, the way that I'd like to cut things with the Dremel, the tools that I like to use. So there's all sorts of stuff when it comes to the finishing product, but this is basically the first assembly of putting together large 3D printed stuff, I guess. It goes a lot in towards 3D printed cosplay. You can put together 3D printed statues, whatever you guys want to do. Anything from a flower vase, little feet rocket boosters, to a large cosplay helmet. Let's get this started. I've learned a few things while making some 3D cosplay props. I'm actually on number 5, even though I've only uploaded 3 videos, but I'm uploading them weekly on Thursdays. And so some of them don't take as long as other ones, some of them take a couple weeks, some of them only take like 5 days or something. So we'll be getting to those, but I've actually built quite a few things now that you guys haven't seen, that I've actually gotten to a point where I'm starting to find what I need, and when I go to the store, I'm not just trying stuff out anymore. I'm actually going to the store for specific things. And that's the whole reason why I did a lot of this stuff. I went and tried a whole bunch of different epoxies and a whole bunch of different glues until I found the exact glue that I wanted. I went and tried different paints. I went and tried different weathering techniques, different gloves, all sorts of different stuff, until now I go to the store and I know which store I need to go to, and I know what products I need to get, because these are, in my opinion, the best things that you can use when you're building 3D printed cosplay props. This right here is a video you guys haven't seen yet that will be coming out this coming Thursday. I've actually got the video completely done, and it's going to be the first one that's broken into 2 parts. The intro part showing you guys the helmet, and then the process of building the helmet. So look forward to that coming up. Here is the things that I use. I have found that using this Gorilla Super Glue is the absolute best super glue that I've ever used, and I won't use anything else anymore besides Gorilla Super Glue. Now I went through and tried all of Gorilla's products, 2-part epoxies, plastic epoxies, all sorts of different stuff. I even went to JB Weld and tried all of JB Weld stuff and Loctite stuff, and I found that this is the absolute best. It doesn't matter if you get the gel or the regular glue here. This one kind of stops running and stuff, but they pretty much act exactly the same. I prefer this right here, but this stuff holds. It holds phenomenally. When it comes to time and when it comes to stiffness, this stuff is just amazing. It gives you just enough time to get it all lined up, and right when you get it all lined up, it just, once you've held it there for a certain period of time, it just seems like it knows. It doesn't, of course, I know it doesn't, but it felt to me like it knew when I was ready for it to set. And so every time that I've used this, it's just been smooth sailing. I love this stuff. It's amazing. Gorilla Glue, Super Glue. Gorilla Glue, if you guys want to send me a whole bunch of this stuff, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at all. I don't care which one. Just send me some super glue. Number 2, this is more of a tip for you guys when it comes to using the glue. And I'm doing this right after the glue just because this goes right along with the glue. Now, I've got a $5 bill here only because I couldn't find a $1 bill on me right now. I guess I've used them all. No strip clubs for me. But there is something about money. Super glue sticks onto your hands like crazy, and so we'll get to the glove portion of this. But it sticks to all sorts of stuff, and you can take if you take paper towels and try to wipe it up, if you exceed too much glue and you push the 2 pieces together and it pushes out, you might use a paper towel. It seems like it sticks instantly. Then you'll have paper towel pieces all over your 3D print. Don't do that. Take a $1 bill. You can take any dollar bill. There's something in this money. It's made out of like a cotton and paper mixture together. And what I tend to do is I find $1 because $1 is the cheapest, and then You can use it. Nobody cares about a messed up dollar when you go to the store. You can still use it. But I just roll it up. I flatten the end. And then I go, say that these are the 2 joined pieces. I go right along the edge. And the super glue goes up into the tube. And then when you get done, you just unroll it. Do this whole thing and set it aside. That super glue is going to dry right along the edge. But for some reason it dries real thin. Really thin, and you can hardly tell that it's on there, and you can go spend it whenever you get done. So, little tip for you guys: use money if you're going to clean up super glue. Don't get it on your hands, and don't get things stuck to your helmet. The dollar bill won't stick. It'll take a while for the super glue to dry. So as soon as you get done, you set the dollar aside and you kind of just let it dry on its own time. You can use it over and over again. I've got $1 that has like a whole bunch of super glue on it, and I actually go through and hold the end of the bill, and I just pick the super glue off, and it comes right off of it. It's really cool. So I found that out on my own because I had a whole bunch of glue on it, and I was looking around trying to find something to wipe it up with. I didn't want to use my finger or anything because I knew it would stick to my finger, and I just grabbed the dollar real quick, rolled it up, and went along it, and it worked perfectly. So that's a pretty good tip for you guys right there. Number 3 is your gloves. Now I really like these gloves, and I use these gloves when it comes, these are just cheap Walmart latex gloves, and I use these gloves when it comes to painting or applying anything other than glue. I actually go to the auto store and buy a 10-pack of the black gloves, and I'll leave a picture of the black gloves right here. They are oil gloves, and when I'm putting on glue, the super glue actually doesn't stick to it right away, and so you can actually kind of, if you don't want to use the dollar, any type of quick things, you can scoop up real quick. If you're trying to mash your pieces together and get them kind of straightened up, they don't stick to it immediately. If you hold it on too long, it will stick. The super glue is really good, but it doesn't stick right away. And the black gloves are just amazing for whenever you're gluing and not getting anything on your hands. But these things are super cheap right here. You don't want to get stuff on your hands. I use gloves now for sanding, painting, anything that I do. Even if I don't think I'm going to get something on my hands, I still use gloves just in case. Because for the first couple props, for this prop here, and for this prop here, I didn't really use any gloves, and I spent weeks with just stuff all over my hands. You want to use gloves because you're working with your hands. You're going to get stuff all over them no matter what. So gloves, gloves, gloves. Number 4, tape. You're going to want tape. And the super glue you can actually hold and sit there if you want to, but if you have a kind of complex part that you want to glue one area and kind of hold it until it sets, and then you kind of want to work your way up and get it all set, then you can do that. And the best thing to do is to tape it, because the super glue actually takes a little while to completely set. As long as you can smell it, it hasn't completely set yet, and it'll mess with your eyes and all sorts of stuff. And so as soon as you get like a piece set, you can take some tape and use it almost like a clamp. And on helmets and stuff, I prefer tape over clamps because there's rounded edges and all sorts of stuff, and clamps really don't work for it. Now here's the part of this. Get you 3M tape. Remember 3D? 3M. This is the best tape for you to get right here, because if you get Scotch tape, a lot of times Scotch tape won't stick to certain filaments. And I make all of my 3D props out of cheap filaments because it takes a ton of filament to make a prop. In fact, this prop right here took a whole roll of filament and then some. So you don't want to use like a really expensive filament if you're making a gigantic prop like this, because you're not even going to really see the filament at all. You're going to sand the hell out of it. You're going to do all sorts of stuff to it. And so you might as well just get a cheap filament. And Scotch tape just didn't stick to any of my stuff. But 3M sticky tape is the best tape that you can get. It's just completely amazing. I call it 3M sticky tape, but I think it's the quadcopter guy in me, because they have the double-sided 3M sticky tape. But I think it's just called 3M tape, automotive refinish masking tape. So Scotch tape sucks. Just stick it on, you'll get it there, you'll get it all set, and then it'll pop off. 3M sticks to everything. And I mean everything, every type of filament. You might as well just go out and get one tape. You know what I mean? And it's the same price as Scotch tape. In some places it may be even cheaper. So 3M sticky tape, number 4, it's best. It's the best tape you can get. And finally, number 5. This right here. Go in and print you one of these. I use this daily. Daily. This is, and you can tell it's got a whole bunch of stuff all over it. I use it pretty much for everything. I went and printed a few of these just because I use them so much. This is all on Cricut, but I use this constantly. And see, you can go up and pick you up one of these knives here, but there's just something, I always need this tool. I'll leave a link in the description for the link to this. There's plenty different ones on Thingiverse that have the same design and shape. I prefer this one. I've printed them so many times, and I'll show you real quick why. I like to save time and filament, so I don't like to put a lot of supports on. So what I end up doing a lot of times is I print things upside down. This is a Red Hood mask that we're making for my son. This is actually number 6 on the list. So I said earlier we're making 5, we're on 5, we're actually starting 6 while on 5 at the same time. So you can see the 3M sticky tape holding it together because it's got a little bit of a, let's see if I can get in here. This is white, so it's got a little bit of a lip right here. But what you can definitely see, I had to print this where the supports were right here and here on these 2 different pieces. And you can see this little part right here. That's like an extra layer because the support comes up and then it puts a layer down and then it puts the first layer, and they kind of tend to stick together. And the cool thing about one of these is if you're saving time and filament like this, the best thing to do would be to print it like this, and then all your filament your supports would be inside. Only this would take, like, instead of 9 hours that this took, it would have taken like 18 hours to just print this one half of this because of the supports that were right in here. So that's why I printed it upside down, because supports waste half of your filament. Let's you know what I mean. And I could have had it smooth. You can not print this and just take the extra time in printing and make it better, but one of the things you can do with this right here is you can stick it right in that lip and you just pry it and see. It takes a little bit of work, but you can eventually get all that off. And you can see that on that other side, there was one on both of them, but on the other side there isn't one. So it takes a little bit of work. You have to kind of get to it and really watch your fingers, make sure that you don't stab yourself. Where did I stab myself the other day? Yeah, I stabbed myself right in the thumb doing it. But I don't only use this on 3D prints, I actually use this around the house every day on all sorts of stuff. So it's a little bit smaller. Anyways, those are my top 5 things right now when it comes to 3D printing, large prints and cosplay prints and things like that, and for basically any prints that you do that you're going to chop up and put together. This is kind of the top 5 putting everything together. So I'll do like a top 5 things for finishing the wood stuff that I use, you know, just kind of the products that I use on top of it and stuff. So anyways, I'm Bryson Michael RC. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Every Thursday I'm putting out a new large cosplay video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Go to my Patreon at Bryson Michael RC on Patreon if you would like to help out with this channel. It would definitely help me out with getting filament. I need to go. I'm going to be getting a new 3D printer this summer because I have my Anycubic i3 Mega going non-stop. Non-stop. It's been working every day for about 2 months now. I've given it a little bit of time off, but not a whole lot. So I need to actually invest in getting another 3D printer. So hopefully I'm on the market right now. I'm actually going through Amazon looking at other 3D printers. I think a CR10, the bigger CR10 is the one that I want. And hopefully I can get that by June and print a whole lot more. I need to get some more filament and stuff too. You can see the aliens up here of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 filaments that I ever got. And we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good one.